Good evening, everybody. If I can have your attention, please, we'd like to start our evening. It's really nice to see everybody here. Just before I came over this evening, my wife sat down as I was thumbing through the channels on my clicker, and she said, "What's on TV?" And I said, "A lot of dust." I'm a big fisherman, and last Saturday, I got up very early in the morning. Very quietly got dressed, went into the kitchen to get a lunch prepared, went into the garage quietly and hooked up my trailer and my boat onto my van. Thought this was great, going to go out and have a nice day. Started to back out of my garage with torrential downpour of rain. I thought, oh, wouldn't you know it. So I brought the car back in, or the truck back into the garage, turned on the radio, and the radio said, "You're going to have bad weather the entire day." I thought, boy, that just ruins my whole day. I thought, well, what can I do? So I quietly went back into the house, very, very quietly, took off my clothes, got into bed, snuggled up against my wife's back, and said, "Honey, it's going to be bad weather all day." And after 15 years, she turned to me very quietly and whispered, "Yeah, can you believe my stupid husband is out in this crazy weather doing this?" I just told you that we just celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary, and my wife was hinting to me for the last couple of weeks what she wants for her 15th wedding anniversary. And I said, "Well, honey, what do you think that you want then? Anything that we can do, we'll get it for you." And she says, "Well, I want something shiny and something that goes between 0 and 150 in about 3 seconds." So I went out and bought her a bathroom scale. All right, that's it. Good evening, everyone. With that, I'd like to introduce myself. If you start throwing eggs and apples, I will certainly understand. My name is Craig Ochoa, and I have been requested and I gladly accepted the offer of the AFA to be your MC for the evening. As you see from my size, I'm not a player. If you saw my pocketbooks, you would know that I'm not an owner or a GM of any kind of team. I'm not a physician or a chiropractor. I'm one of those guys that wear the black and white shirts, and I wear a white hat, and I put a whistle in my mouth. I'm one of the referees, and I was inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 2003, and very honored to be in your pleasure company. Thank you. I really think the only reason why they asked me to do it as a referee is because once we get into the presentation part of the evening, once our presenters and our inductees go a little bit longer in talking than they're supposed to, they want me to bring out the flag and penalize them 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct. So that's how I got the position. For those of you that have put on events at your house or your places of work similar to this, you know what an incredible ordeal that it takes to put an event like this on. The AFA will start the 2012 preparing of the AFA Banquet Hall of Fame starting tomorrow. But up to this point, all year, we have been either meeting personally or in conference calls to try to set this up. And I think it would be inappropriate if I didn't introduce your board of directors of the AFA along with the planning committee. What I'd like you to do is hold your applause, if you will, until I have them all stand, and then we'll give them all a round of applause. We'll start off with Dave Birch, who is our president of the AFA, C.O. Reel, And if you please stay standing. Rhonda Reel, George Ashcraft, Roman Strazala, Dick Leland, Jordan Kopek, Bill Christie, Helen Mary Lockhart, and unfortunately Moose Ralph Fahey cannot be here, but he's with us in spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why you're sitting here tonight, is because of all these people. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, we know that the whole evening is really for our new inductees. Since we're going to be bringing them up individually along with their presenters over the next hour and a half or so, we won't name them individually, but on behalf of the AFA board and all of our membership, I think we should have the new members, new inductee members, stand so we can give you a round of applause before you come up here and accept your awards. So will all the new inductees stand up, please? What a good-looking group. And of course, any organization could not survive without the help of all the membership within the organization. And I'm very proud and pleased to see out in the audience tonight a lot of past inductees. So with all those inductees that have already been inducted over the past 31 years. If you're in the audience, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause as well. So all the inductees in the past, please stand up. Again, another good-looking group of guys. And some gals, too. Unfortunately, not as many as we would like. To put an event like this on takes a tremendous amount of resource, financial resource. We do get some profit, which we'll talk about in a minute, with the sale of the apparel items and so forth. We've brought in some sports memorabilia, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But thanks to the AFA Board of Directors, and specifically Dave Birch, our president, he has gone out and solicited sponsorship, financial sponsorship from a number of different companies. And I realize some of these companies are not located maybe in your area. And there was a banner up here on the side here, on your left side. These are all the members. But if you don't mind, because they have provided financial support, and to me, that's very important that we just make a quick announcement of their name so we recognize them. So this will take about a minute and a half, but I'd like to just go over each of the names. Prosper Financial Services, Watertown Red and Blue Semi-Pro Team. Black and Blue. What am I thinking of, Chicago? Sorry about that. Watertown Red and Black Semi-Pro Team. Chameleon Cafe and Lounge. Smiley Delight Cookies. That sounds good. Ambert Energy. Red Cloud Food Services. Steve Weed Video Productions. Serenity Hospice Care. Young Living Essential Oils. Elmhurst Travelers Semi-Pro Alumni Organization. I know a number of them are in the back room. Thank you guys for all your financial contributes. Thank you very much. Dick and Cheryl Leland. Dick is on the board, by the way, of directors. Phoenix Internet Service. They provide web hosting and design. Prepaid legal service. National Players Association, and it's Willis Wilhelm, class of 97, that has helped us out financially. Sadler and Company Insurance Agency, Fandom Creations, Bloomingdale Signs by Tomorrow outside of Chicago, Associated Schools Incorporated, our good friend Neal Anderson, Monty Holmes Sr., class of 2003, Bill Christie, our attorney and board of directors. Thanks, Bill, and your wonderful family. James Buhay contributed to us. Patrick Neal, which is one of the sons of Charlie Neal, contributed to us. Coach A. Summers, class of 2002. Valerie and Jordan Kopek. Jordan was a class of 2003. William Jake Olszewski, class of 98. Ron Butch Hansen, class of 10. Andy Trenchita, class of 11. and Gary Schaefer, class of '94. Let's go ahead and give these wonderful sponsors a round of applause. And again, on behalf of all of the board of directors, thank you to those sponsors for your financial support. Just a little bit about the format for the evening, so we'll all have a general idea of how long we're going to be here. We should be out by tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening, enough time to get you to Catholic Mass at 7. We have 18 wonderful new inductees that we're bringing into the organization. We're absolutely thrilled with having these fine people come aboard with us. If we gave each of these 18 presenters and inductees 10 minutes to talk and so forth, that would be 180 minutes. So we would be here for 3 hours, which would mean we would be ending close to 11 or 12 o'clock tonight. So we thought from a board standpoint that we might want to limit that a little bit. So what we would like to do is we're going to have the presenter come up along with the inductee. We would like the presenter, if at all possible, to try to stay in about the 2-minute range when you're introducing your sponsor or your inductee. And then the inductee, him or herself, we would like to try to keep your speech to about 3 minutes. And if we can do this, we'll try to be out of here in about 2.5 hours or somewhere in that time frame.
Craig, does that mean we keep the clock running?
In your case, it will always be running. Believe me. Yes, keep that wound. What we'll do is we will call up in just a few minutes. We will call up our first presenter and inductee, and then we'll also call up the second inductee and his presenter, and they will stand off to the side. And what we'd like to have you do when you're in what I call the batter's circle on deck, you'll stand over here to your right side, to the right side of the screen, and this way we'll keep the evening moving along a little bit faster as opposed to waiting for all the group to come up. And then after each presenter, I will announce who the next presenter is and the new inductee. By the way, our first presenter is going to be in just a few minutes, Lynn Patrick with George Ashcroft presenting, and that will be followed by Carl Anderson and Pat Neal. So that kind of gives you an idea. What's that? And then what we'll do, once you have done with your the inductee with your speech and so forth, we would like to have you step to the right side of the podium where we will take a picture of you, and something brand new that we've never done before, and again, we can thank our president, Dave Birch, for this. We have jackets that we're going to be presenting to the new inductee, very similar to the U.S. Open, when Tiger Woods and all those great golfers win the green jackets. Well, in this case, it's a blue jacket. So the presenter will present the jacket to the inductee. They'll take a photograph with the pictures and all behind them along with their plaque. It's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful evening. What we're going to do is, because we have 18 inductees, we're going to break up the evening just a little bit, one to give you a break and also to get over to the sports memorabilia, which we'll talk about right now. We're going to do the first 9 introductions, which is we figure it's going to take us about 45 minutes to do that. And if I look at my clock here, we're probably looking at about from 8:10 to about 8:45 or something like that, where we'll do the first 9. And then we're going to take a 10-minute break to do 3 live auction items. One of the auction items, and I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to that point, is a walking stick that has been carved by one of our members, Ralph Moose Fahey out in Seattle, who just has an incredible talent for this kind of thing. He donates a walking stick every year, and rather than put that in a silent auction over on the table, we thought it'd be more appropriate to do a live auction. So we'll do a live auction with that. We have $250 worth of Marriott gift certificates, and I don't think you have to use them all at one time, although if you go to a Marriott, I'm assuming the room is going to be $250. But anyway, we will live auction all 5 of those. There are 5 $50 certificates for Marriott. We will live auction that. And thanks to the Green Bay Packers and Dick Nealand, he was able to get us an autographed football by the MVP for the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers. So it's a signed autograph, very, very valuable, with obviously his name somewhere on here, now that I put my fingerprints all over it. and we'll go ahead and auction that off as a live item as well. So you'll have 3 live auction items. We're going to move pretty quickly because this could go on and on. So for those that are interested in either the walking stick, the ball, or the $250 gift certificates, kind of keep that in mind. And we'll do that, as I said, after the introductions of the first 9 inductees. And then a couple years ago, we decided to bring in some sports and celebrity memorabilia. And it went off very, very well 3 years or so ago. We did it again last year, and it was even a bigger success. And this year, through a sports and celebrity memorabilia company out of Chicago, we have provided you all with about 30 different items that is on the table over here. We had the items out last night for those who came to the huddle, which we had a tremendous turnout, by the way. I'm sorry that some of you weren't able to be here. We had about 80 total attendees last night in this same room, and it was just absolutely fantastic. So it gave those folks a chance to see the sports and celebrity memorabilia that we brought in, but we decided that we didn't want to sell everything last night in terms of a final bid, so we carried everything over till tonight. And what we'll do at that break that we have between the first 9 inductees and after we do the live auction, we will give you about 5 minutes to go over to the sports memorabilia table so you can make a mad dash, and we'll almost count down. You know, you've got 1 minute left, 2 minutes left, whatever the case may be. And once we knock on the door here saying that it's over, then that'll be the last opportunity you'll get to do any kind of silent bid on the items. So if you want to do anything, I suppose you can get up and do things while we're doing some of the presentations, but be respectful of your presenter and your new inductee. Just as a reminder, first of all, we do have not raffle tickets. We decided not to do any raffle tickets this year. So for those of you that have attended in the past, you'll notice we had some raffle items. We did get some in, but we just felt it wasn't the caliber of items that would be reflective of what we're trying to present with the banquet tonight. So we decided to go with a 50-50. I know some of the girls have been doing that. We got to sign up here. And this really probably is more advantageous because I think last year we gave away several $100s. It's just a one prize shot, but it's several $100. And I think the girls already told me a half hour ago that we're up to $550 already. So what we'll do is one ticket is worth $1, but if you do 20 tickets, we're going to sell it for only $10, which is basically 50 cents each. So, you know, just raise your hand as the staff are walking around if you want any of the 50-50 raffle tickets, and then we'll do that also probably during the interim break as well when we take the live auction items and we close down the sports memorabilia. I would be regretful if I did not mention the apparel that the organization has provided to all of us on the right side, your right side, against the wall. The wonderful team that we have everything from sports shirts to T-shirts, sweatshirts. We've got some hats over there. Last year we did a very nice, solid glass piece that is available to you all. That really is a keeper's item because it has the 30th annual logo on it. But just from a glass standpoint and to have the AFA logo on the glass, it really is quite something else. And those are for $10 each. And all of these, by the way, have all been discounted so that we could get those out to you in an economical fashion. So, and I saw that we were walking around with the new jacket. I think Ray Ellen had a jacket on. Some of you probably saw that. Dave might talk a little bit about this because I'm going to have him come up in just a second before we start with our full presentation to talk about the internet broadcast. But Dave was instrumental in getting this unbelievable jacket that is Keith Ballard. Well, but you were the one who started it, though, weren't you? No. All right. Well, we'll give the accolades to Keith Ballard. But this is just an incredible jacket, and the company that I own, we provide apparel items to various individuals and companies. And I can tell you, from a quality standpoint, this jacket is not only the jacket is unbelievable, but the branding, the monogramming, and embroidering is beyond belief of what has been done. That it can be specialized to your particular team. They'll put your specific name on it, and I think they'll even do the city and state where you play. So be sure that you take some time, maybe during the break, to go over to the table and get some items for yourself or your family as far as the apparel goes. Dave, you want to come up and just talk a little bit about the internet?
Good evening. Before I start with the internet, I just want to again acknowledge Keith Ballard for that jacket design. I was just a facilitator. Keith came up with the idea, and let me tell you a little story about that. When I talked to the gentleman who manufactured the jacket, as it turned out, he did my high school sweater. I no longer have that. A young lady took that. But the one in college, my fraternity sweater, and I meant to bring that, I still have. It still fits. And I told Mr. Soul about that. I said, you know, that's a testimony to the quality of your product. I can still wear that sweater. It hasn't deteriorated. And he says, look, you know, if you want it refurbished, I'll take care of that for you. I said, no problem. So, again, Keith, thank you for that excellent piece of work. And then continuing on, Keith was the one that came up with the idea for the jackets. Again, just a facilitator. This guy has a lot of energy, you know, vision. So I said, okay, let's do it. And he got in behind Mr. Soul again, so that's how this design was done for the patch, okay? So we're able to pull all of that together, and again, thank you for that. And as Craig mentioned, all of the inductees are going to be getting jackets. Now, we didn't sew the patch on because you plus-size guys might not fit quite right. So if it doesn't fit, as I was a little snug too, but if it doesn't fit, we can return it. And then we'll get it done, you know, we'll take care of it, get it fixed right, and follow up on that way, okay? Now, continuing on, internet broadcast, this thing is live. And if you notice, there's a 51-second delay. I don't know why, Steve, but, you know, speed of light, no? Electrons? Okay, so if you would like to text your family and let them know that, you know, they can watch this or they want to send you a message, and I sent out a broadcast last evening, we can pick up the email and do shout-outs and that kind of thing. So this thing's going to be live, and then before you leave, Steve is going to have DVDs available for those of you who would like to purchase them. And Steve, what was that? $25? $25. So if you'd like to get a DVD before you leave, or if you'd like to order one later, okay? So, you know, this is a step up from what we did previously. Previously, we would mail them after the fact, but now he has his burner on site, and he can create a number of them for you real time. Okay? So again, we want to acknowledge Steve Weed for that. And yeah, that's the other thing. I just got a delivery of several 35 millimeter and 8 millimeter game film from the Chambersburg Cardinals. So I'm going to get that converted to DVD, obviously, because of selfish reasons. I used to play against him, and I don't have any game film. So Steve's going to do that for us. And if any of you would like that, as time goes on, we'll have that available for you. No cost. Okay, so just send me an email. So that's about it. I think I covered everything. Thank you very much, and we'll keep things moving. Okay?
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Dave. That's for sure. The amount of work this guy puts into this organization is beyond belief. You're retired. Thank you. You'll notice that on your each of your place settings, we put a little box. This is a gift on behalf of the your board of directors and the AFA. It is a robot light. I don't know if it'll actually come on or not because there's oh yes it is. So that is our gift to you to use as you may see fit. And just so you don't break it, you can actually close it back down, bend the light back toward the top, and whammy. We thought of all the items that we could get for you, we wanted something that would be useful, and we thought that would be a very effective item. So enjoy that on behalf of the AFA, and I'll give this right back to you, I promise. And we're almost done, I promise. In your packet, there is an evaluation form or survey. This is really, really critical. We had a board of directors meeting this morning where we talked about not only this evening and how we wanted it to go and the success of it, but we talked about, obviously, the future. And there were a number of board of directors that had different ideas, all positive ideas and forthright ideas. But rather than your 9 or 10 board of directors making the decision for our organization, we want this to be a very proactive and participant type of group. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is that if you provide the information to us. So thanks to the committee that has put together your packet, there is a evaluation and survey form in there. I know it's going to take probably 3 or 4 minutes to do that, but if you would at least do something for us, If you want to put your name on it, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay as well. But it could be, for example, one of the conversations we had this morning is, do we bring the Hall of Fame banquet back to Canton, Ohio? For those of you that were here the last couple of years, we were in Chicago. Prior to that, we were down in Florida. So we had a whole array of discussions this morning in terms of where we thought you would like to have the next Hall of Fame banquet. Do we come back here? Do we maybe go back to Florida? There was some talk about the time of the year. We don't necessarily think maybe going to Sarasota, Florida, hypothetically, in June would be the best thing. But if you all think that's okay, then maybe that's something we'll consider. But you might say, yeah, let's go to Florida, let's go to Las Vegas, let's go to Dallas, Texas, in maybe one of the warmer months. So these are the kind of feedbacks that we would like from you. And once you get through with the evening, we've had as many as 33 inductees, which is probably a little bit too long, but we would like to get your feedback. Are the 19 individuals that we're presenting tonight, is that enough for you? Is it too many? Is it too little? So those are the kind of things that would be very valuable to us in guiding your organization in the direction that you want it to go in. So if you could just take a minute and just fill that out. Unfortunately, I don't think we provided pens or pencils, but hopefully somebody at the table can get you one, and you can fill that out. And I think we're going to have you drop it off as you walk out the door. There will just be a box there, girls. Perfect. There's a blue box. In fact, it's right there on the corner with, looks like evaluation already filled out. So you can just drop it off there if you would, please. And as long as we're talking about drop-off things, for all those of you that have received the lanyard and the name tag, again, in order to keep our expenses down and be able to provide you with these kinds of an events at the cost that we do, if you would be so kind as to return your lanyard and your name badge. Rhonda is showing you the box there. Just put it back in there, and that way we won't have to order every year, and we can kind of keep all the costs down. If you want to leave it there, that's fine. I'll leave that to you. If you want to put that in the bathroom wall, hang it up, we'll find you someplace. At this point in time, during our evening ceremony, we'd like to take a moment of silence to fondly remember the founder and leader of our AFA organization, Ron Neal. We lost Ron 3 years ago in 1998. Ron and the AFA are synonymous with one another. You can't really think of the AFA without thinking of Ron, and you can't think of Ron without the AFA. So in addition to the loss of Ron, we've had 4 other AFA members during the past year that have also, unfortunately, gone to a greater pasture with our good Lord in heaven. And I would like to just announce these 4 names so we can keep them in our prayers in just a second. Wilson Gurley, who was a class of '02. Frank Buzz Grady, class of '09. Ken Stone, class of 2000. And Kurt Campendahl. I don't have his year, but please just take a moment in silent prayer and give thanks to these wonderful individuals, these family members and friends, for their outstanding contribution and what they have provided to the AFA. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. And the last bit of appreciation that we would like to express is to the Neal family. Even though there's a whole team of us that put this organization in the right footing, that helped with the planning of this particular event, the Neal family does a tremendous amount of work. And I think without further ado, I would like you to acknowledge Seal Neal, her 2 daughters, Rhonda and Rayellen. There are 3 boys who unfortunately are not here, but the 3 boys provide all the printing information that you have on your table, all the programs, all the one-piece literatures. Their names are Rory, Mike, and Russ. And without the Neal family helping in this direction and providing at no cost to the AFA all these items, again, our meal would be certainly a lot more than it is. And obviously, in addition to the Neal family, Cheryl Leonard and also Jan Rubite. have also been a big help to us. So if you would please give all the real family an applause. Thank you very, very much, everybody. And of course, Mary, we know that you're part of that same group, so you know that. All right, now let's get into the important part of our function this evening with the introductions of our first inductee. And once again, we'll have Lynn Patrick and George Ascroft come up, and you'll be the first presenters. And then on deck will be Carl Neal and Patrick Neal. And again, Carl and Patrick, you'll be on the right side of the podium, your right side. And then once you've done with your introductions, then we'll go ahead and take the picture, and we'll do your jacket and get you all set up. So come on up, gentlemen.
Good evening. I want to echo what Craig said about the real family and everybody involved with the AFA. It's an honor to be a part of this group of people. They really do care. The football player that I'm going to introduce, nicknamed the Tin Man because he wore knee braces and broke his leg a couple times. The second time he had to get about a 6-inch, 8-inch plate hammered out, literally with a hammer and chisel. The doctors didn't think that he'd probably play again, but he told me that night he'll decide when he's going to get done. And he got about a 14-inch plate in his leg, and sure enough, he came back a year later and played for about 7 more seasons. In his career with the Watertown Red and Black, the Tin Man had over 1,500 tackles, so he might have squeaked a little bit when he walked because of his braces, but he could play the game. He led by example. He didn't really complain. If he did say something, you heard him because he's a good-sized man, but it was because he cared. I don't remember him ever missing practice for anything. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Lynn Patrick, the newest member of the class of 2011.
Well, my worst fears were being first, the first one to speak. So I just want to thank everyone, my family, my mother and father, for sitting through games from the time I was 9 until I quit playing at 42. The rain, snow, sun, whatever, they were always there to watch me play. My coaches throughout my career, high school, college, and of course Coach Ashcraft, who nominated me. I put out special thanks to him. He was my coach for the better part of 10 of the 15 years that I played, and you know, one of the best things that he ever did was he came out and told us, "You're men, go out and play the game. I don't need to hold your hand. You guys know what your job is. Do the job and just let us play." He didn't overcoach and tell you, "Hey, you have to do this way, you have to do it this way." He said, "You know how to play the game, go out and play." And that was probably some of the best coaching that everyone in the room that knows football that you could get. Is if you know how to play, you don't need somebody standing over you all the time. And but I'd just like to thank everyone. I'm very honored. Never thought in my whole life that, you know, I would get to this point and have an honor like this. So I'd just like to thank everybody. That's it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lynn. Our next presenter will be Pat Neal. He will be introducing his father, Carl Neal. And then on deck will be Felicia Hansen, and their 2 sons will be presenting Robert Hansen. Sorry, Harrison. Sorry. That's why I wear glasses.
Hi, my name is Patrick Neal, and I'm here to present to my father to the Hall of Fame. Carl Neal. He played with the Elmhurst Travelers from 1952 to 1957. He ended his career with a pretty bad knee injury. So he's done a lot of things in his life. He's been a great example to all of us. Through our life growing up as kids, my dad, we always knew he was a big, tough football player, and all of us boys wanted to be just like our dad, but he kind of went and looked at us and said, please do not play football. We don't want you guys to end up like I do. So my choice in sports were hockey. So, but what I'd like to do now is thank the AFA for recommending and electing my dad into the Hall of Fame this year, and our family is here to congratulate him, and we love you. Thanks.
I appreciate this honor of being here, and I appreciate the AFA for running an organization like this. I enjoyed my time playing football. I played all the way from 5th grade all the way through high school, and I played 2 years in the service, and then I played with the Travelers, and it was the best time of my life. After I was injured, I got into scuba diving, and we played a great sport called underwater hockey, and it was the greatest time of my life. And my son, we grew up together in underwater hockey. I thank you all. Bye.
I've always wanted a golf cart like that. Wouldn't that be fun, especially if you're riding around? How neat. Congratulations, Carl. Nice to have you with us. Next on board will be Felicia and their 2 sons, which is always fun to have. Austin and Hunter will be presenting their father, Robert Harrison. And then on deck will be Ron Hansen presenting Dale Berman. Guys, come on up.
Well, I unfortunately did not know my husband during his career, so on behalf of Larry, Gary, Jerry, and Roman of the Elmhurst Travelers, we are proud to present Robert Harrison for induction to the AFA Football Hall of Fame, class of 2011. In 1977, Bob was in tryout camp with the Green Bay Packers, and in 1979 was with the Kansas City tryout camps. However, his career was with the Delavan, Wisconsin Red Devils. Bob loved competition and excelled at the game. He is a former running back, halfback, fullback for the Delavan Red Devils of Wisconsin of the Northern States Football League from 1977 to 1980, and was runner-up Rookie of the Year in 1977, scoring 13 touchdowns, 5 of them being over 40 yards. Bob had deceptive speed and could kick it into high gear quickly. This is how he got his nickname TD. He went on to play his first minor league Super Bowl against the Marysville Cougars in 1980, with the last game lost of 37-20, however, was nominated All Minor League Pro of Pro Football Weekly that year. In 1982, Robert moved on into the position of assistant head coach, offensive coordinator for 2 years for the Baton Rouge Red Wings, part of the Southern Football League. From there, in 1984, he moved into the position of scout for the Denver Broncos under Reed Johnson College Scouting. Additionally, he played professional rugby, a loose forward for the Blackpool Burros in 1978.
We are proud to introduce our father, Bob Harrison, for induction to the AFA Semi-Pro Hall of Fame.
Thank you, honey, and Austin and Hunter and everyone here, AFA honorees. Also like to thank Gary, Roman, Jerry, and Jerry and Larry, my sponsors. You know, it's I'm not real good at speeches, so I'm just gonna wing it out. You know, I always get real nervous. This was like coming to play a football game. You know, years and years later, I always had the stomach, always turned and everything. But it's quite an honor. And I also want to thank my tribe. I'm a Standing Rock Sioux Indian from Fort Yates, North Dakota, born and raised out there, and where I started my life at. My mom and dad. My dad passed away before he ever got to see me play football, any semi-pro or anything in college. And you know, I always remember some of the things he's always told me. He was my greatest supporter. He says, you know, go out in life, give it your all, keep it in your gut, and give everything that you got, you know, from your heart. He says you'll always succeed then. He says a couple of his things was believe in God, and God will always be with you. Second was don't lie. Third was don't steal. You know, those are his little things that had walked through my whole life with me. And be willing to learn and grow in times of trouble. And if you can learn to change, that was the one thing that he really stuck with me. A little nervous. Well, and I also want to thank my family. You know, I wish they could have seen me play, but they unfortunately didn't. You know, it was years back, and it's a great honor. You know, being sitting in here in this room with everybody, and just accepting it, and I want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Ron Hansen presenting our fourth inductee, Dale Berman. And then on deck will be George Escroft introducing Tom Psczynski.
I want to thank Dale for asking me to introduce him this evening. I feel this is a big honor for me. Dale started out his athletic career as a three-sport athlete out of a township high school, where he played football for Bill Novak, one of the legends in high school coaching in Illinois. After his senior year, Dale was named All-Conference, All-State, and Honorable Mention All-American. And he played both offense and defense in the North-South Illinois football game. He was heavily recruited by many Big Ten and Division I schools, finally accepted a scholarship to Northwestern University, where he played 2 years for Coach Bob Voigt. Dale didn't qualify for a deferment from the military service, so he dropped out of school after his sophomore year. While he was waiting to be drafted, he was playing for the Aurora Clippers in the Tri-State League, and then finally was drafted and served in the Army for 2 years. After he was discharged, Dale then accepted a grant and aid at Northern Illinois University, where he and I became teammates. In 1958, his first year there, he was most valuable player and made all-conference. In 1959, Northern had their best season in 8 years, going 7-2. Dale was voted honorary captain by his teammates and also selected all-conference. After he graduated from Northern, he then went on to play for the Elmhurst Travelers. He was then named to the Bi-State's All-League team in 1961 and 62. In 1999, he received one of his greatest athletic honors when he was named to the Northern Illinois University All-Century football team. Dale has been very active in community service in the North Aurora area. He's been on many boards of directors, served as a trustee, and he is currently the mayor of North Aurora. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dale Berman and welcome him to the AFA Hall of Fame. Dale?
Thank you, Ron. You know, it's great to be able to not only play football together in high school, but play it in semi-pro. I'd like to introduce my wife of 53 years, Mary. We have 4 daughters. 4 daughters. You know, there's nothing like an ex-football player without any sons, but we have 4 daughters. One of them here, daughter Lynn, is here with her friend Susan. And a son-in-law married to one of my other daughters, Dan, and my grandson, Jacob, are here. So that's the family that's here tonight. So, you know, I never miss an opportunity to speak because I think it might be my last one. But, you know, I want to thank the Hall of Fame, the American Football Association, and certainly the Elmhurst Travelers. It's been great to have that, the camaraderie and the friendship of all these guys for all these years, and it really is outstanding. You know, there's only one sport, and that's football. We all know that. Those other sports are just they're just there. But there's only one sport, and that's football. And it's meant a great deal to me in my life for 64 of my 77 years. Since I was a freshman in high school, that's when I first learned about football, and it's just been a great part of my life. It certainly gave me a college education for free. It gave me all the friendships and the camaraderie that I enjoyed over the years with all the different people. The memories, you know, last week I was asked what was the most memorable thing of my football career. What game or what season or whatever. And I looked back and thought about it, and I said, you know, you remember some things, but what you really remember is being out there on the field and being with those rest of the guys and blocking and tackling and the camaraderie that you have for years to remember. So as I look back, it's been a great career and a great life, and football has just been a very important part of it. And I thank you for this opportunity, and God bless.
Good job, Dale. Thanks for bringing your family. That's wonderful. Next up will be George Escroft introducing Tom Psczynski, and you got to give Tom a round of applause once he gets up here because he is one of us. The black and white shirts that I was talking about earlier and the white hat and the whistle, he's one of, and I think there's only about 25 of us total in terms of referees in the AFA, so it's quite an elite group, Tom, and I'm very proud of you, and congratulations and welcome in. On deck will be Greg Psczynski, and Ed O'Reilly will be introducing Brett Wilson.
The gentleman that I'm going to introduce next, I've known personally because he's been an official in the Empire Football League in New York State for many years. He started officiating back in 1971 at the high school level, and about a decade later got into coaching or refereeing the semi-pro ranks and whatnot. He's done many championship games at all levels of the game, and he's just a stand-up guy. He truly does care about the players, the coaches. You treat him like a gentleman, and you get the same in respect back. And that's sometimes not the way it always goes when you're a coach and you get those blue veins that stick out of your neck because you don't like what's going on. He's easier to speak to than a lot of them because he always smiles when he comes walking towards you. So, you know, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Tom. Congratulations, Tom.
Obviously, I'd like to thank George for introducing me. When it was being an official, it's very difficult to sometimes get a coach, and I've worked many of George's games, and he was very gracious, and he said it would be an honor to introduce me, and I appreciate that very much, George. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Dave Birch. Dave is a commissioner in the league that I work many of the games, and Dave has been a staunch supporter of the officials in my crew, and I appreciate that very much. Also, I'd be remiss to not thank my wife for being a football widow for 40 years, and she had to take her Dramamine to drive cross-country with me to get here, because this is the furthest we drove in a long while together. I'd like to congratulate, first of all the inductees for this year and all the past inductees. I'd like to thank the AFA, and I can't tell you, I am extremely honored and humbled. When I saw the names and the people that are here, the first thing I said, what am I doing here with all these people that deserve this honor? again, I just want to thank everybody, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Tom, welcome on board. That's fine. Next presenters will be Greg Skowronski and Ed O'Reilly. Will be presenting Brett Wilson, and then on deck will be Jordan Kopech, who will be presenting Anthony Bartley.
We have two presenters, so I'll try to be brief, but there are so many accomplishments I might go over a little bit. Talking about Brett Wilson. I coached Brett on defense, and Coach O'Reilly coached him on offense. He played linebacker for us when we went back-to-back national championships with the DuPage Eagles, but most of his career was spent on offense, and his career is a pretty sterling one. High school All-American, played at #1 junior college in the country, when he played junior college ball, played at the University of Illinois, where he played in the Liberty Bowl and the Rose Bowl, and went on to play semi-pro ball, but he also played with the Washington Generals in Indoor League, and he played for the Minnesota Vikings in the National Football League. So he's had quite a career. And then when he finished 19 years of football as a football player, he coached for 1 year as an offensive coordinator with the King County Eagles, who won the national championship. So he's had quite an illustrious career. But I'd say it was a pleasure for me to have been a part of his career as coach for a while. Coach O'Reilly will talk to you now.
I'll be brief too. Brett's been a real pleasure to coach. When you're coaching offense and we still use those two-back sets, even though everybody's gone into the spread offense, to see a fullback that can knock people off the ball and catch the ball too, it was just a pleasure. And he became a very good friend of mine. One of the luxuries we have in semi-pro ball is not only coaching them, but having a few beers with them too, and we really enjoyed him. And he helped me when he was on the sideline too, pointing out all of my mistakes too. He was a great friend, and he is a great friend, and I'm glad to introduce him as the newest member of the 2011 AFA Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's a true honor. I greatly appreciate all of the support that everyone gives me, and I'm mortified. I'd like to first of all thank my mother and father, who are in heaven right now. I'd like to thank my wife of 17 years, football widow. I love you, sweetheart. All right. Throughout all my career, oh, by the way, my mom passed on Tuesday. But I'd like to thank some unique individuals. I'll go through the teams and just say thank you to the coaches, because basically we all understand the experience in which we are set with each and every week. First of all, the trials and tribulations of figuring out how we are going to put together the trip, so on and so forth. I'd like to thank, first of all, with the River Grove Cowboys, Gino Nudo, who also was instrumental in bringing me to the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Lokensaw, my running back coach. Don Stramalia and Howard Huntington. All right. Then, of course, my wonderful experience in Racine, Jordan Kopech, Chris Pivovar, and then to the DuPage Eagles and hence the Kane County Eagles, these two hooligans. Thank you very much for inducting me. I appreciate it. And Jim Nugent, who is here this evening. I'd like to thank you very much for the opportunity to stand in front of you and all the great people that are here tonight, and let's enjoy the evening. Let's celebrate the greatness of semi-pro football. Thank you very much.
Good job, Brett.
Thank
No more holding, by the way. Next up will be Jordan Kopech presenting Anthony Bartley, and I think Anthony's got his sister as well, so that'll be kind of fun to have her up here as well. And then on deck, Dave Birch will be presenting John Rogan. Jordan?
Okay. Yes, Anthony will have his sister will be doing the presentation, but I really want to find out who Anthony was, because I see it, if you see on his list here, at the end, he was the head coach of the American Football Women's League, and as some of you know, I've been investing in a lot of different football teams, and indoor and so on. And I got a phone call, and the guy called me and he said, "Would you be interested in investing in lingerie football?" And I said, that'd be my first step. My second step would be a divorce. And my wife was sitting there, and she said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "He wants me to invest in a lingerie football team." She says, "Yeah, next step is a divorce." So I want to meet Anthony. How in the world did he get involved in a women's football team, and he's still standing? So anyway, here's Anze, his sister, and she'll be doing the presentation.
This is my presentation for Anthony Bartley, my brother. Anthony played for the U.S. Air Force in 1994, and he made the Frankfurt Galaxy of NFL Europe as a walk-on team member in 96. He led the Diligent Steelhawks, which is now known as the Sarland Hurricanes, to the Southwest Bowl Championship, rushing for 821 yards and 9 touchdowns. Anthony's also played for Ventura County Cardinals under the legendary AFA Hall of Famer Bo Brooks, and he's led the Cardinals to the first of 2 CFA championships for Brooks before his passing. Anthony got his first taste of professional football working as the regional vice president for the National Indoor Football League, general manager and head coach for the Los Angeles Lynx, Long Beach Aftershock head coach, American Football Women's League 2002 championship, which is a lingerie, and the Reno Barons defensive coordinator. And Anthony's been my friend, brother for so many years, the godfather of my oldest daughter, and I'm very proud to present him to the class of 2011.
First off, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him I wouldn't be here today. Second of all, I would also like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the AFA and the Board of Directors. This is a wonderful experience being enshrined in such a venue as great as this. I mean, this is by far one of the best accolades of my career, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's amazing to be in the same venue as some of the greats in football today. As I looked in the archives, I see Vince Lombardi's name there. You know, I consider him the godfather of football. You know, I look at my mentor, Bo Brooks, class of '95. You know, may he rest in peace. Bob Blecken was one of the oldest men to play professional football. When I got the chance to play with Bob, he was 69 years old. And at 69 years old, he still made a lot of young guys look dumb. Also got the pleasure of playing with Derek Means. He was enshrined in the class of 2000. And this is, like I said, I've been blessed to be around a lot of great knowledge when it comes to the game of football. Some of my mentors, Ray Clay, Doug Banks, who they've been with me throughout my high school career. They saw me make the transition from track and field over into professional football. You know, and like I said, they've really taught me how to play the game, everything on the other side of the coin. You know, it's one thing as, you know, we grow up playing this game of football. You know, as we were kids, you know, strapping that helmet and shoulder pads, going out there like gladiators. But it's another thing to really be on the sidelines, planning, strategizing, really, you know, getting guys to believe in your system. And I thank them for that. My trip here wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for people who really believed in me and what I bring to the table. And I'd like to read those names off to you. one of my dear players in the women's league, and by the way, with the Long Beach Aftershock, they were actually full contact in the women's division, but they were some of the best women that I've ever coached. They really took their game to heart. She was actually one of my players, Leslie Wickman. Then also a friend of the family's Alma Katchke, Ahmad Newton, Nolan Sykes, Joel and Cindy Bonelia, my little sister Anza for being here to present for me, my brother Michael Bartley, who's over in Iraq serving his country, my cousin Darren, who really brought out that competitive edge in me. And just real quickly, he played basketball, Cerritos Junior College. They won the state championships. I just started high school. He came flashing this ring in my face. And I just told him, I said, you know what? You got your ring, but I'm going to top you. 5 rings later, I can really throw it in his face like, yeah, you only got 1, but I got 5 more. And now I'm about to throw 6 up in his face now, so he's really going to be on a few of them. But I also like to thank my kids, my oldest, Lavelle Andre, Shania, and my baby, DeMarco J. Anthony. I also thank my parents, Robert and Shirley Bartley, because without them, instilling me, going out to be a leader, that's all they taught. Go out and be a leader. Go for the goal. Do not settle for second. Nobody remembers second place. And I can honestly tell you, nobody remembers who lost in the Super Bowl against the New Orleans Saints a couple years ago. So they always remember the champion. So that's been my motto. I also would like to send a special thanks out to my fiancée, Sherelle, because without her love and undying support and my coaching endeavors, again, I wouldn't be here to this day. And I also, before leaving, I want to say to all the inductees in the class of 2011, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you gentlemen, to share walk down those same halls and grace the pages of history. Again, thank you, and congratulations to everybody.
Jordan, I've got you beat. About 2 years ago, I'm not sure if this is good news or bad news, I was called to see if I was interested in being the head referee for the Lingerie Football League. And it's amazing to go from a Big Ten game on the previous Saturday with 100,000 people in Michigan State, Ohio State, to the Lingerie League. But I said, I'll do it. Now, the difference between me and you is that I didn't tell my wife until game day. And you told Valerie. But this is a true league. This is a true league, and Anthony was correct. He is the head coach in the league. And these are very serious ladies who want to play indoor football. They are coached for about 3 months before the season starts, and they come out. They're not in lingerie as we know lingerie, but they come out in very skimpy clothing. And let me tell you, as the head referee is typically in the offensive backfield looking at the quarterback in the center. Well, I'm down here, guys, and I'm watching the whole play. The play is completely gone, and I'm still down here looking. And they're holding the kicking. They're going right past me, but I'm still down there looking. So I got one up on you.
You know this is a live internet broadcast.
And I will be living at the Copex starting tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. The wing's coming off. So I got one on you. Now, you got to follow this, Dave. Dave Birch is next, presenting John Rogan, and then on deck will be Dick Nealand and Jerry Gorton, and that will be the last of the initial phase of presenters. So, it's all yours.
Thank you. John Rogan is from the Empire Football League, and I spent a lot of my career in the Empire Football League chasing this guy. Okay, one of my favorite people in the player position were quarterbacks, and I made a career out of hurting quarterbacks, and I could never get to this guy. I could never get a clean hit. But John played semi-pro football for 13 years, from 71 to 84, for the Lackawanna County Eagles. You know, prior to that, the Broome County Jets, or Binghamton Jets, we were beating people 95 to nothing. Nobody could touch us. And then John Rogan started a team. And we played against him, and it was the first loss we ever had. We were in shock because these guys were just as good or better than we were because, they practiced, okay? A lot of these other teams would just show up for the games, the ones we beat 95-0. But he led the Lackawanna County Eagles to the Empire Football League Championship, and one of my best memories was, we played in front of 16 to 20,000 people. Never seen crowds like that. And again, just walking into the stadium, we were in shock to begin with. During the 71 season, he led the Eagles to 10 wins, a one-loss record, was the all-league quarterback, and in 71 led the Empire Football League in passing. And as I mentioned last night, in that book on semi-pro football legends, John Rogan's in the book. I'm not, but, that's okay. During his 13-year playing career with the Eagles, they won several Empire Football League championships, and in 77 won a national minor league championship right there in Scranton. So again, I'm honored to present to you one of my competitors, Mr. John Rogan, a quarterback. And we got another quarterback on deck. I won't clothesline you this time.
Dave didn't mention that he and I used to work for the same company. We worked for IBM a long time ago. And I often wondered why he would hit me so hard since I worked for the same company. But he just never let up. He always did. I want to thank Dave for the introduction. Appreciate that. And the Ron Real family for everything they've done for this organization. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and receive this honor. I'd also like to thank Jerry McGonigal, who nominated me for this award. I know Jerry for about 30 years. He's from the Scranton area, and he nominated me, and I really appreciate that. I know Jerry and his wife Alice for a long time. When I was in high school, I went to Archville High School. I'll just give you a little bit of a background, and I'm only going to take up a couple of minutes. I went to Archville High School. We had 60 kids in our high school class, and about 29 boys. And I played on a high school team that had the wonderful football record of 8 losses and 2 ties. So that was, to me, that was quite an experience. I couldn't understand why we were losing these games because we went to practice every day. We did what we thought we should do. I got out of high school. I was a pretty good baseball player in high school. I thought I might be a baseball player someday. But I got out of high school, and it was in 1960 I graduated, so it's quite a while ago. And I watched the Rose Bowl in 1960, and somebody's here from Wisconsin. I watched the Rose Bowl in 1960. As I mentioned, I thought I was going to be a baseball player. But I watched this Rose Bowl. It was Wisconsin versus either USC or UCLA. And while watching the game, I watched this quarterback, Ron Vanderkellen, from Wisconsin. In the first half, UCLA was winning 29-7. It looked like a rout, but I had nothing to do for the rest of the game. I thought I'd watch the game. In the second half, Ron Vanderkellen came out, and he was a magician. It was the best quarterbacking I ever saw. And I sat there in wonderment and just watching this, and I thought, wow, I would love to be like that. And at that moment, something inspired me to become a football player. I went to a junior college for 2 years, and I played a lot of touch football around the town I lived in. I lived in a very small town. A friend of mine went to the University of Toledo, and he called me. He said, you ought to come out here. It's a great school, and they have a football team. And I wasn't really interested in going to college, but I did want to play football. So I enrolled at the University of Toledo as a walk-on, and I walked on in the spring, and I was just a tackling dummy. And it took me a couple of years to learn how to play football. I really didn't know anything about it when I got there because I came from this particular high school. Not that the coach wasn't a good coach. I just didn't get the message, I guess. But anyway, at the University of Toledo, I learned a little bit about it and became a football player. After that, when I got out of school, I worked with IBM for quite some time, and I ended up in the restaurant business. I had restaurants in the Northeast. And we played a lot of touch football around town. This is kind of an odd story. You become from a touch football player or a college player to whatever. But anyway, played a lot of touch football. And we had 11-on-11, all grown men. It was kind of rough. And you know, as football players, you know that could be a little bit rough. One day I was in my restaurant, the guy named Jimmy Wascura came in. He played at Columbia. He was an offensive guard at Columbia, and he said, you know, if there was a football team around here, I'd like to play, or I would play. And then I thought, gee, if there was a team around here, I'd play too. And somebody told me about the Empire Football League, so I contacted the Empire Football League and went to see them about a franchise. And we went to a meeting, I forget where it was, it might have been in Albany. They gave us a franchise, and we started a team in 1971. We started with about 20 players. We tried to make it sound like it was a great organization, it was going to be a good football team. Then a couple more players came, and eventually, about a week or two before we were ready to play, we really had kind of a pretty good football team. And our sixth game of the year, we won 5 in a row. First game, we had about 2,500 people, and the crowd did kind of build. And the sixth game of the year was against Dave Birch and the Tri-City Jets, who were never beaten in about 2 years. I think they were 24-0 or something like that. We played them in Scranton Memorial Stadium, and the stadium only holds about 15,000 people, but there were probably 17,000 people there that day. And as people were coming into the stadium after the first quarter, it was reported to me that they were asking, people from Binghamton were asking, what's the score? And people at the gate said, well, it's 21-0. And they said, oh, God, we came down here to see this game again, and it's another slaughter. And then the people reported to them that, well, Scranton was winning 21-0. So that was pretty nice. But anyway, we won that game, and it was really an amazing feeling. You know, when you win, everybody here won games, and you lose games, and obviously you kind of remember a lot of the games you lost because you wonder why. You know, you can remember a play. If you could have done a little better, you might have won the game. But after winning that game, it was a feeling of euphoria. You just can't even imagine. You all know what it is because you won games like this. But then we finished out the season. Binghamton had 1 loss, and we had 1 loss. We played a championship game, and we flipped a coin in a restaurant. I remember the coin hit the dust. I was right there when I called it, as a matter of fact, because I was one of the principals of the team.
I never knew this.
Yeah, we're in a Scotch and Sirloin restaurant, and I forget who the commissioner was at the time. We're debating where the game should be played, and it came down to a coin toss. The commissioner had a silver dollar. He said, I'll flip it. Somebody said to me, you call it. It hit the dust, and it was sawdust on the floor, and we had to move the sawdust, and it was heads. I called heads, and the game was in Scranton. And we played, and it was another amazing experience. We won the game, and we were Empire Football League champions first year. But we developed a tremendous friendship with, especially Binghamton, the Tri-City Jets, Ray Stanton and Klump and Greco, and I could go on and recite the names of most of the people on that team. But it was just a tremendous rivalry for the next several years. And over the next several years, Scranton would win a championship, and Binghamton would win. We more or less went back and forth. But there were great teams like Watertown and Hudson and Glens Falls and Albany, and we played up in Boston and then up in Canada. We had great times. We played against Racine, Wisconsin in a national championship, and that was quite an experience. They beat us 1 year, and we beat them 1 year. But anyway, it was just a wonderful experience to play. It was very competitive, something we love to do. And just to wrap this up, I took a little more time than I really wanted to. I appreciate you being considerate. But anyway, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you.
We have one more presentation, and I was just reminded that the AFA would like to have a ball signed by all the new inductees. We started this a couple of years ago, and in hopes that at some point in time in the not-too-distant future we will have a AFA museum where we can display all these wonderful pictures and awards and balls. So for those of you that did not sign the ball, this ball, if you can come back up here maybe in between the break or at the end when we do our group picture, just be sure we get all your names on it, and we'll start off now with having the ball signed, and the rest of the inductees can go ahead and sign it. Alrighty, our ninth inductee, the presenter is going to be Dick Leland. Sorry, Dick. I know there's only one of you, and your wife is prettier than you are, by the way. And he will be introducing Terry Gorton, and then once again we'll be taking a short break, although with a live auction following this presentation. Dick, you're up.
Thank you, Greg.
You bet.
I'd like to welcome all the alumni. Congratulations to the inductees. Thank Dave Birch, the board of directors, the Real family, and my wife for all the work she does. Terry Gorton played for the Hudson Falls and Glens Falls Green Jackets. Just to give you a little history, the Watertown Red and Black is the oldest team, founded in 1896. The Green Jackets were founded in 1928. That's why George Ashcraft looks older than I do. Terry Gorton came out for the team in 1976. He was only 17 years old, had to get a permission slip signed. He only weighed about 160 pounds, but I went to the Nautilus. I used to put about 6 of those weights on to do the overheads. I went there one day. He comes in, he puts all the weights on, boom, 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 boom. So he was a strong son of a gun. I used to play quarterback. He could throw farther, he could run faster. I was number 10, he was number 11. He had to do everything better. One time, my father and I were out on a sales call at National Catheter in Argyle, and Terry happened to come through the reception area. He worked there. I introduced him to my father, and I said, Terry's going to take my place at quarterback. And Terry says, yeah, I'm going to take his place at Leland Paper Company, too. Terry was a great all-around athlete, but the amazing thing was, at 17 years old, he led us to the Empire Football League Championship, which was amazing. We upset the powerful Albany Metro Maulers, and two of the most exciting football games I've ever seen in my life, anywhere at any level. We beat the Watertown Red and Black in triple overtime in a game at Derby Park, one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. I almost froze to death. Everybody couldn't wait for the game to get over because it was so cold. And then we went down and beat Albany in the championship game. Terry got Rookie of the Year that year. He was all-league quarterback in 1983, 85, 92. He was an all-league defensive back in 1990. He led the Green Jackets to the playoffs in 1976 and 1985. Led them to championship games in 76 and 85. And you were a teacher in Johnstown, and he played for the Johnstown Glove City Colonials and led them to the playoffs in 1990 and 1991. So I'd like to introduce my good friend, teammate, Terry Gorton. He's also a better speaker than I am, as you'll soon see.
Good evening, and I'd like to thank, first of all, the AFA. I'd like, and Dave's and the Real family, and Dick Leland and his wife, and all the help that the people do behind the scenes, because without those people, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, because our job really is the easy part. I do want to point out the first 10 years from 76 to 85, we actually went to the championship 7 of those years. And had it not been for Scranton and Binghamton, probably would have won 7 of those instead of just 1. And Dick's right, I came out at 17 years old of high school. And my high school football coach was also our football coach with the Green Jackets, invited me to come out for the Green Jackets, which kind of blew me away because I had absolutely no intention of doing that. But I did. And I did need a permission slip, so I did what any 17-year-old would do at that time. I drew up a permission slip, and I signed my mother's name, and I gave it to the coach. It's amazing when, you play the game, and we play a game that is a game, but it's a game that can elicit tremendous emotions. I've seen guys cried myself because of the game. And, going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame today, I'm kind of drawing parallels to what their Hall of Fame and what their game means compared to what ours. And about the only one I can find is they get paid. We played with no less passion than NFL players. We play with no less effort. we feel no less elation when we do well, and we feel no less hurt when things don't go well. We play the game for what the game was meant to be played for the passion and love of the game. I played 17 years of semi-pro football, and I loved every minute of it. And people ask me, why would you do that? You don't make any money? No, I didn't get rich doing it. I played because it was fun. I played for, as many of these guys mentioned, the friendship and camaraderie that goes along with the game. I miss the sweat. I miss the guys joking around, busting your chops, and doing the same. And the tremendous memories that we have gathered and will take to our grave from this game. I'm thinking back to 1976. We're talking about the league championship game. Now, that was 36 years ago. And I can remember with 2 minutes left in the game, we were down, and my coach calling a timeout, and his exact words with the entire conversation. And it's just amazing that it's etched in my mind as if it's carved out of stone. And I remember the timeout, and his name was Pete Quackenbush, who was a fellow inductee, and he said, listen, here's what we're going to do. It's third down. We either score. If we don't score in this play, we're going to tell timeout. We're going to kick a field goal, tie the game. And we called the play we'd never called. It was a very simple play. It was a 14 jet pass. He goes, hey, let's swing Bonzi out of the backfield. Bobby Bonds was a running back. Didn't run the play all year. Went back to pass. There was nobody near Bobby Bonds. And I threw a ball that went end over end. He caught it. We won the championship. And the funny thing about the game was the mayor of Albany was supposed to present the winner the trophy from the championship game, but when the presentation came, the trophy had mysteriously disappeared. And we all surmised that was because Albany had carved everything but the score in their favor. But it was our trophy nonetheless. I thank everybody for the work that they've done to bring this together. This is a great event. I do have to ask how you got that picture to show you actually catching me, because I think that photo, I think that photo's been doctored by over here. And I also want to thank the fellow members as players, because without them and my teammates, and I've had some tremendous teammates that are certainly more worthy than I to be here, we wouldn't be here. And to put it in another perspective, for what this means to me and maybe to you, I was talking to my brother about this. There's approximately 6.5 billion people on this planet. Yet here we are, one of a very, very small fraternity that I think means a great deal to all of us. I hope you all enjoy yourself. I thank you all, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Terry. All right, we've come to that time in the program where we'll do a couple live auctions. I would like to ask for the respect of the organization to at least stay with us for at least the live auction. We'll give you time to take a break, but because it's hard to hear in the live auction part, I'll still give you time to take your bathroom break and give you time to get over to the auction items. But what we're generating is revenue for the operating costs for the organization. So, whatever you're bidding on, whether it's live auction or silent auction, just know that all the revenue that we generate is to try to keep the organization alive and functional, because there's no other source of revenue other than just the dues. So let's go ahead and do the very first one. We're going to take a break now for about 15 or 20 minutes, Alan. Let's go ahead and do the first live auction. It's going to be the watch. If you are going to talk or you need a break, then if you can go outside the room, that might help us. But for those that want to actually bid, we really want you to bid and have some fun on this one. They're also selling 50-50 tickets. But bottom line, this is a walking stick that was done by our good friend Moose Fahey out in Seattle. We're going to start the bidding at $50, and then we'll go up into increments. We'll go up in increments of $10.
A lot of people went out to the washroom too. So.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I hear you. Just the information.
I'm assuming. Okay, just quick. I'm assuming anybody that is now left is not interested in these 3 live auction items. So we're going to go ahead and start our bidding at $50. We got $50, $50. We have $60, $60. We're looking for $60, $60. $60. We have $70, $70, $70. We have $60 over here to the left. We look at $70, $70. We're looking at $80, $80. $80, $80. We have $70 over here on the right. $80, $80, $80, $80. No, we're on $80. You're bidding against yourself. Or you just did $80. $90, $90. We got $80 going once. $90, $90, $90, $90. Thank you, Valerie. $100, $100, $100. $100, $110, $110. $110, $110, $100 going once. $110, $110. $100 going twice. $100, $100, $100. Anybody? Valerie? No? Sold. $100. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good job, buddy. All right, the next items, which is really valuable, we're going to go ahead and do the 5 $50 Marriott certificates. These certificates can be used in any way, shape, or form. I'm assuming at their restaurant or obviously for hotel combinations. It's worth $250. Again, they're 5 $50 coupons each. We'll start at $50, and then we'll go up in increments of, again, $10 at a pop. So for the 5 $250 gift certificates to Marriott, they're going to give me $50. Anybody will give me $50, $50, $50? $250, it's like cash. You can probably cash it in for $250. $50, $50, $50. Thank you, George. $60, $60, $60. $60, $60, $60, $60. We're going to sell it for $50? $250, $60. Thank you. $70, $70, $70. We have $60 going once. Looking for $70, $70, $70. $70, looking for $70, $70, $70. We have $60, $70. Thank you, George. $80, $80, $80. $80, looking for $80, $80. We're going to. We have one bid at $70, $80. Thank you very much. $90, $90, $90. Looking for $90. We have $80. $90, $90. Looking for $90. $80 going west. $90. Thank you. We have $90. $100, $100, $100. Looking for $100, $100. $90 going west. $100. $110, $110, $110. $110, $110. We have $100 going once. $110, $110, $110. We have $100 going twice. $110, $110. We'll look around the room one more time. $110. $110. $110. Thank you. $120. $120. $120. $120. We have $110. $120. $120. $120. $110. Going once. $120. $120. $110 going twice. Looking for $120. $120. $120. Sold. $110. Thank you very much. Dave, I'm going to stop this. I've got this phone. Yeah, I am. All right, everybody, you got a, let's do about a 5 to 7 minute break, all right? We'll give you an announcement. Go ahead and do your last bids, and we'll give you a countdown, because once we do the countdown, we're going to pick up the bid sheets, and that's going to be it, and then we'll make the announcement as soon as I get the sheets back. So go ahead and take about a 5 or 7 minute break.